Now, the year 2020 is wrapping up, and as it is, usually is with the Yuletide. We are in it already because the frenzy is already in the air. People are always in a rush to get things in place for the celebration. That's a norm every time we get to the Yuletide. From last minute shopping to traveling, and it is a very busy time of the year in many parts of the world. But after this comes the fatigue and then expectations of the new year, which are the realities that we get to face from January 1. Now, these expectations come sometimes. They can dampen one's image, one's mood sometimes, especially if the goals for the outgone year were not achieved. Remember the issues of New Year resolutions that people make every year. Now, how does one develop the resilience to pursue one's dreams, goals, and aspirations in 2022, even after suffering series of setbacks this year? This is part of what we'll be talking about as a way of inspiring people as you get into the new year 2022. And to talk about this is a UK-based Nigerian chartered accountant and principal lecturer, Tower College, London, Olanrewaju Sharafa. Olanrewaju, good morning. It's good to have you join me.
Hi, good morning, Mike. Thank you so much for having me again, and it's very nice to be back to TVC.
Exactly, good to have you. Now, talk to us. The point there is, it's becoming a little cultural for everyone to talk about the issues of New Year resolutions. You know, when we get to the end of the year like this, and then the new year is starting from the 1st of January, people talk about the issue of New Year resolutions, you know, as a way of reorganizing themselves and so on. What is this New Year resolution idea about, and how does it, you know, change anything that when it comes to the plans for the future and aspiration and dreams?
Thank you, Mike. I suppose what you are asking me more or less aligned with the thinking of Alhaji Aliko Dangote in one of his remarks, where he said that if people look inward, they would see the opportunity for greatness. So the concept of New Year resolution is a self-reflection moment or a self-reflective moment, in which case people tend to look inward, look into the future, and to possibly identify, you know, future greatness, future opportunity, set goals, set aspiration, you know, leave behind what they couldn't achieve in a particular year, and of course set some target towards achieving something great in the new year. So I so to speak agree that Alhaji Dangote is, you know, speaking about New Year resolution, looking inward, and, you know, setting some great objectives, and that's what, you know, the New Year resolution concept is all about. And many of the time, that's what caused the fatigue that you mentioned, because of course we keep chasing this New Year resolution in a bid to achieve the many of what we want for ourselves. Some of which will be achieved, some of which will not be achieved. We will fail in some instances, we'll achieve some of them. But of course, at this time of the year in December, we come back to the drawing board to do self-reflection, take stock, and see what we have achieved. So that's it for me.
All right. Now, every year has its own opportunities and even challenges. I must put it that way. We have been trying to recover, find our feet from the devastation caused by the COVID-19 pandemic throughout last year. And this year, 2021, was a year people, organizations, companies were trying to recover. And it goes back, it goes forth, it goes back, it goes forth. Now, we're looking at 2022. What should people begin to look at when it comes to, you know, we were trying to find our feet in 2021. Maybe we couldn't do it well, or maybe we did it, but we need to consolidate in the year 2022 and all of that. What should people be looking at?
Thank you, Mike. I think the starting point is to, first of all, appreciate the fact that we're still alive. And that's why I talk about the science of gratitude. Before we begin to think about what we need to look out for and what we need to set goals and aspiration for in the new year, I think it is important to stop and say how much grateful we are that we're still alive. Because of course, to ask for more starts from appreciating what you currently have. The science of gratitude increases happiness, it reduces depression, and of course, it strengthens resilience. So if we're going to face the challenges of the 2022, it is important that we have to start from, appreciating and giving gratitude to God for all that we have. Now, looking into the future, when you say the stop and start, in which case the COVID-19 pandemic has actually made our reality, yes, you're right, and it's really unfortunate where we find ourselves, especially that we're approaching the 2022 facing another variant popularly called the Omicron. Now, what that means for us as professionals is that we need to be ready for the challenge that the 2022 will bring for us. It means that we are probably going to experience the stop and start, including lockdown related, rules and regulation and guidelines in 2022. And that's why it is important that professionals needs to prepare ahead of 2022. And for you to get there and for you to achieve what you are able to, the goals that you set for yourself or the New Year resolution you set for yourself, I think it is important now that we need to take a break. We need to take a break. We need to, show gratitude. We need to also reflect a lot as to what we have done this year, what we couldn't achieve. And more importantly, we need to show what we call self-compassion. We need to show love to ourselves, because it is so hard to talk about moving forward when in fact you can't even, build resilience, when you can't build, the willingness to push forward. So I agree with you that the COVID-19 has actually, diluted our way of life in terms of, work-life balance, in terms of, normal routine. But of course, 2022 will come with its own challenges. Professional needs to be ready to weather this challenging time, or be ready for the opportunity that will come. And, go back to what Alhaji Aliko Dangote says, that we need to look inward. And if we look inward as professionals, greatness is just awaiting us.
Okay. Now, talking about the issue of setting goals and targets, of course, everyone wants to improve on themselves, improve on everything they have achieved in the previous year, looking into the new year. But sometimes habits have to change, strategies have to change, perspectives have to change for anyone to improve on himself or herself, as the case may be. What should people be looking at, apart from the gratitude of being alive?
Thank you, Mike. I think, you see, in life, we are human beings. And I have to say this, we can be whatever we want to be. We can achieve whatever we want to be. And I agree with you that we have to work on mindset. We have to work on our attitude. We have to build resilience. But more importantly, in 2022, it is important that professionals need to recognize the role and the need to build emotional intelligence skills. We have to incorporate emotional intelligence into whatever we do. We have to sort of build that skills, because of course, a lot of challenges are probably, waiting in the 2022. We're talking about the likely impact of the new variant Omicron. I mean, I was just watching your newspaper review some minutes ago, where you touched hugely on challenges that the nation is facing around leadership, around governance, and all of that. This will still be there, and this will still remain, because of course we are even approaching electionary period, and tension of electionary is coming. Again, businesses are facing challenges in terms of whether to be in business or to quit business. The huge impact of COVID-19. And of course, the travel industry now is facing some restrictions and all of that. So it's going to be a little bit challenging. But then remember, I said we have to look inward and we have to build some skills, which, one of the questions you just asked now. And such skills includes the digital and innovative skills. We need to, ensure that we are digital compliant, because of course, if we go back into this stop and start, model in which happened since the era of COVID, It means we would be having working from home again. We will have to, of course, change our way of life. We will have to still connect with our loved ones through various, digital apps. So I would say that we must continue to build our innovative and digital skills. We have to build resilience to be able to withstand any situation. And, we have to keep our finger crossed and appreciate God and live life.
All right. Now, in the areas you have talked about, one would say, okay, that is for those who have life going for them in a certain way. Now, let us go down to people who may not have anything, they may be described as those who don't have anything at stake. Those who have been on the streets, who are poor, who are not educated, and all of that. We remember some boys running and roaming the streets in parts of the north, and even not just the north, but in parts of Nigeria, whom the government is planning one way or the other to give monies to at different points. For them, of course, if you talk about changing strategies and all of that, they would not feel included in the plan like that. So what should be different in approach to those people, and to ensure that one way or the other they feel the impact of governance for them going into a new year?
Thank you, Mike. I think what you're asking me is more or less sending an invitation to some of us who are up there, to some of us who are professionals, to come into aid of these people, to step in and to embark on some charity project. You are inviting those who are doing well in public sector, in private sector, to come out and, make some contribution to helping one and lifting one. I mean, you saw recently what Davido did on his birthday, like trying to, reach out to orphanage home. And of course, part of what would have motivated Davido to do what he did was because he felt that there are some people who are left behind. He is up there, and just to cater for these guys who are left behind, which is exactly what you're talking about, those who don't have hope, who are just on the streets, he felt that he needs to do something to give back. And I agree with you completely that some people are on the street who don't have hope, who don't have strategy. But like I said, what you just said is an invitation to many of us who are up there to see what we can do to lift one and to help one. But having said that, you see, it is important that we should encourage everyone, or many of us, not to lose hope. We're human beings. We're there for one another. We're there to help each other. And the message I'm going to send to anyone out there who does not have a direction at the moment, who does not have anything doing, is don't lose hope. Life itself is hard and it's tough. But of course, I mentioned that we all need to build resilience, and that will keep us going, keep us moving, and of course, we can, withstand any difficulties.
All right. Olanrewaju Sharafa, thank you so much for talking to us on TVC Breakfast this morning.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. Right.